Hello, folks. This is Kevin from Good Day, Good Prayers, and I hope you're having a good day. I'm in a new venue today. This venue looks just a little bit like one of the other venues that I have been in from time to time, another building. But I've never been in this building to videotape a video on either of in fact, all three of my channels. So this will be a first. This venue I might go ahead and fix up just a little bit so that it has an opportunity then to be a venue that I use on a rather regular basis. Today we're talking about the revelation of a family. And the revelation of a family, we are talking specifically about a family that has lost a family member. And we're also talking specifically about another family that has committed a horrible, heinous crime. And this situation, I'm not going to mention the name of the person who took the life, and I'm not going to mention the name of the family. The reason I'm not going to do that is that I'm not going to deify that young man's deed. He did an evil and terrible thing, and because of that, he's not going to get any recognition from me. I would recommend to all of you who are content creators that you quit using his name. You quit talking about him. I'm going to talk about him as if his name is No Name, and you know who I'm talking about when I say No Name. And if you don't, then you should look that up. Now, there's been a lot of people that have said that Charlie Kirk was a partisan, and there you go, I'm using his name. He's not an activist, and he was not a partisan. He was a young man who was concerned about his country, and he wanted to make sure that this country was able to get a fair shake. We have spent generations, centuries, even millennia, not getting a fair shake. And this country, when it became a nation many years ago, hasn't gotten a fair shake since, because a lot of the people who were the leaders of this country were evil people. We fight not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers and rulers of outer darkness. That's who we fight against. His name is Lucifer, Satan, and he is like a roaring lion seeking whom he may devour, and he wants to devour you. He always has wanted to devour you. That's why the people in Congress, and that's why the people that were in many of the administrations in years past had instructions and had signed a contract that you would die, and that's what they wanted. Charlie Kirk was not a partisan. He was not an activist. If you want an activist, you should talk about the anarchy of people like Antifa, the people that were responsible for killing Charlie. You should talk about the evilness and the fact that they are Luciferians. And we have talked about the fact that Satan has come to rob, to kill, and to steal. That's his reason for being here. And he wants you dead. He wants everybody dead. We are at the part of the tribulation where you're going to see Christians getting wasted. That's one reason why you see attacks on conservative churches a number of times, is because they want to take those people out. Now, of course, unfortunately, the media, when anything bad like that happens to the conservatives, they have an orgasm. That's a nasty word to use, but that's the truth. They have an absolute mental orgasm, and they go crazy. And that's an unfortunate situation. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about my family. I'm going to give you the lowdown, the information. There was a woman in the area where I lived. Her last name was Pillsbury. She was a communist, and she was an educator, a professor. She worked at a very large college, one of the major colleges. And my mother took classes from her. Now, my mother was massive liberal. And she took classes from this lady. And of course, she just ate it up hook, line, and sinker. Well, my wife and I had both gone to college in our earlier years. And when we graduated, we realized that things were just not what they should be in the education field. So when my daughters were getting ready to go to college, I told them that they needed to be careful what they believed, because what they were going to hear was going to be awful. Well, the one daughter went to college first, and she believed everything, and she became a huge lib. In fact, she became a witch. And she was really believing all of the things that went completely against my family. Now, our other daughter went to school as well, and she didn't believe that stuff. She sided with my wife and I as far as who we should be and what we should believe. And I was happy about that. You know, it was kind of exciting to me that at least one of them would believe what was right as far as the eyes of God were concerned, as far as I was concerned. Now, all three of those women, my two daughters and my mother, were all educated in part by this Pillsbury lady. Now, this Pillsbury lady, I don't believe is related to the company that does the Pillsbury cakes and whatnot. But I will tell you this, there's something very important that we need to understand. And we'll probably talk a little bit more about it in the next video. Right now, across the world, 60-some% of the population believes in the MAGA movement, in the conservative movement, in the Christian movement. I'm going to come right out and say it. Now, that has to reach 70%. You hear about these ships that are coming here to our world from other galaxies and other universes and so on. And these people want to see what's going to happen here pretty soon, because there are going to be some rather interesting events. But these people that come from these other planets will tell you that when we get to 70% of the population believing, and this is believing the conservative ideology that is taught through most of us who are on this kind of a platform. When it gets to 70%, that's going to be the time, the general time, when everything is going to change over. The economy will change over and everything. And we're getting very close to that. That's probably one of the most important things that the death of Charlie Kirk has done. Because now, for the first time, we're going to see the MAGA movement and all the other things that it is called change over to 70, 72, 73, maybe 75 or 80%. And at that point, then things will flip over. This is Kevin from Good Day, Good Prayers. The next video is going to be called The Valley of Decision, and I might just go ahead and do that here today while I'm here in this building. A good day always starts with good prayers, and if those good prayers reach the throne of God, Well, that's your key. So with that said, you folks have a good day.